We're here in the beautiful Bahamas, continuing our scent training, transitioning to find the scent. One has the scent, this is a game. And then we move on to level 45. The command is find it, find it. We've got ourselves some distraction. This is like calculus. Let's get going, man. You're talking too much. Hello, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to Einhorn Soot. I'm Devlin. This is Shadow. And we're here in the beautiful Bahamas. And I'm feeling great today. Happy New Year. We'll get into the specifics of today's episode, which is continuing our scent training. In the comments, I want you to tell me and let us know how's it going when you're trying to teach your dog to find a scent compared to when you're teaching your dog to find a food item. All right? And when I say scent, what I'm saying is the scent is not a food item. It's everything scented. That's obvious. Our dogs have wonderful noses, right? So everything has a scent. How are you transitioning from teaching your dog to locate food compared to teaching your dog to find a scent that isn't a food item? So, Shadow, right here. Sit. As you remember from last episode, we're working on scent training. Now, as I've been defining it, of course, you're going to find maybe a different definition at times elsewhere. But the way that we're describing it for our program, the Dog Star Training Program, is nose work is when you're using your nose, not me, but my dog, to find a food item. Everything has a scent, of course, right? So everything's scented, but if it's specifically food, well, that's an easy thing to find because it smells like food and I like food, right? It's a reward. Right? Positive reinforcement. However, if it's just a scented item that's not rewarding in and of itself, it just has a scent like a tissue soaked with peppermint or a tea bag, right? That's not a food item for our dogs, but it has a scent. And so when our dogs have been trained to look for a scent item as opposed to looking for a food item, they've advanced to another level. So last episode, we needed to transition from looking for the food item to finding a scent. But if you remember, what we did in the beginning was we paired the two together. So our dogs made the association in their minds that this thing smells awesome. I like this smell because why? It reminds me of the food item that's been paired with it. All right, so let's jump right into that, into our lesson for today. We're continuing our training and we've removed the food item and we just have the scent. So we're giving Shadow a chance today to jump right into it. Our job right now is to teach our dog that this is a game. And if she gives us what we want, she'll get what she wants. But the challenge is, it's a lot easier to find a food item. How do we get our dogs to understand to find a scented item that's not like edible? All right, so we're going at it. We're going to teach our dog to touch an item or even put their snout into an item, right? And then once they give us the behavior we want, we give them a reward. We've all done this before. We've done like touch, something like that, high five, whatever it is. And our dog said, hey, this thing is awesome because you're going to reward me afterward. So we're using the same approach right now. All right, so let's give it a shot. I'm going to stand in front of Shadow. And once Shadow touches the tissue holder, then I'm going to reward her with a treat. By the way, the tissue holder has the scented peppermint in there, all right? A peppermint scented tissue. All right. This is a process of elimination now. By the way, there's something called free shaping, and it's a way of training where your dog just does the behavior. You don't particularly try to direct them specifically exactly how to do it, but when they do it, then you reward them. All right, and that's how free shaping works. So it's almost like your dog's talents shine, and then you reward your dog based on their abilities, all right? As opposed to guiding them through the entire exercise and showing them exactly how to do every movement. All right, so let's give it a shot. And I've got my clicker. As I said before, we need to have our tools handy. So I've got my clicker so she knows exactly when she's done it correctly. And if you remember from our marker training, once you give the clicker, you press the button, 1 second later, she gets that reward. So she is able to make that mental connection. Now, it's important when you're doing this that you teach your dogs, like remember last time, I don't want Shadow burning all of this awesome energy in between the exercise, right? Now, if you take a peek down there, we got ourselves a stray dog. Shadow sees the dog. I'm sure that they smell each other. They're very aware. So we've got ourselves some distractions. And this one is hightailing it straight for us. So let's see what happens before we continue. Looks well cared for, like a friendly family dog, actually. Probably escaped from the yard. And by the way, that's known as what? Free roaming. So we're going to have to pause this lesson for a bit because chances are we're not going to get Shadow to focus much with other dogs around. Shadow, find it. Yes. Good sit. Good. So the way we're approaching this exercise is we're asking Shadow to wait before we say find it. And then after Shadow does find the scent or the food item, we're asking Shadow to sit and wait for the next round. Okay? Rather than have her out kind of searching and excited and just using up that energy, because sometimes when you're practicing scent work, you're not going to get a lot of time. You might get 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes of it, and then your dog is going to get mentally exhausted and want to do something else, right? So you want to utilize that energy while you got it. All right, so let's keep going while we got it. Shadow, find it. Yes. Good job. Now, what I'm doing is I'm discouraging Shadow from sniffing on the ground so she knows the reward is up here. All right. But I will want her to sniff on the scent for the ground, but only on command. Right. So like I said, I'm pulling that energy in and saving it for the exercise. I'm also using a clicker. So when Shadow does the behavior that I want right away, I'm going to press the clicker button, and 1 second later, as quickly as I can, I'm going to give her the reward so she makes the connection. All right, let's get one more go at this before I change the location of the scented item. Now also, I have the scented item and the clicker in the same hand because I don't want Shadow to get distracted and think that there's something in this hand for her. I want her to know that there's no food item readily available. You've got to look for the scent. Find it. Find it. Yes. Good. I'm also asking her to give me a soft indication, which is to sit down when she finds it. All right. And so eventually we're going to move into lying down as the indication, as we did in the previous videos, right? But in the beginning, you can't teach your dog everything at one time. So you want to take each item or each behavior kind of in a step-by-step approach. All right. So now that we've got Shadow seemingly looking for the scent, touching the item, putting her nose pretty much into the center, and then receiving the reward, so she's actually looking for the scent to get the food item. How about I change the location of the scented item to see if she's still going to go for the item, find the scent before she gets the reward from me. I'm going to put the tissue container closer to the ground, right by my feet. And I'm going to ask her to find it just the same. I'm also letting her see there's no food item in my hand, so it can't just be come and get a piece of food. All right. This is free shaping. So she's going to have to figure it out through a process of elimination. And then when she does the right behavior, I'll be ready there with a reward. All right. Shadow, find it. Find it. Find it. I'm going to help her out. Find it. Find it. Find it. Find it. Yes, she touched it. And because she touched it, she gets that reward. She didn't go all out, but she has to build confidence in the behavior that gets the reward. Right? So let's try again. Let's keep right at it right away. And I'm actually going to move the item around a little bit just so to reinforce to her, to reinforce to her that it's this item that she's touching with her snout. Shadow, find it. Yes. Now I said yes, and I used the clicker. Both of those are the same marker, and the reward came immediately after. Let's move the item. Let's move the scented item. Shadow, find it. She didn't go all out, but she touched it. And she went straight for it. And there's only a scent in here. All right, let's keep going because I wanted to start to look more on the ground. Shadow, find it. Yes. I think she's figured out that putting her nose to the item gets her a reward. Shadow, find it. Find it. Find it. Yes. Good job. Good job. All right. Now I'm going to give her extra praise because that was extra good. And I want her to know, I wanted to be excited to do that again. All right. I'm tempted to go and get the rug, but I don't want to move too fast. Let's make sure that she really understands. And I want you guys at home to practice or try not to move too quickly when you get excited. I work with a lot of people, and quite often our dogs give us one solid behavior that we're looking for, and then we move on to level 45 and leave our dogs behind. All right, good. So with that being said, I'm gonna still allow her to lie down for this one because she did so well. You know, I'll give her a little bit of an easier go at it. Shadow, find it. Find it. Find it. Find it. Yes. Good. Good job. All right. All right. We pause right here and move into the next episode, or wait until the next episode before we continue. Because like I said, you're only going to get a set amount of time before our dog gets mentally exhausted. All right. This is like calculus. When we're doing calculus as humans, you're going to do some of it, then you're going to get mentally exhausted and you got to take a break. So thank you for watching our episode where we've been practicing teaching Shadow scent work versus nose work and how to identify the peppermint scent, right? And so when you're practicing, how's it been going for you? Is your dog looking for the food item or looking for the scented item? Are you pairing them? What are you doing to achieve success? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.